Griffith Piney Park Museum and GRAPA, the Griffith and Regional Association of the Performing Arts, would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians and first storytellers of the land on which we live, work and perform. We pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging, and we extend that respect to all Indigenous people on the airwaves today. Vintage Voices. Tune into Griffith's History, a radio play series by Griffith Piney Park Museum and GRAPA. There was a time when the wireless was king. The family ritual of gathering around the radio set was at the heart of households, tuning into their favourite stories or news from beyond their communities. Vintage Voices is the resurrection of this ritual, telling tales based on the real histories of Griffith through the nostalgic radio play.
The Water Joey. In the early 1900s, a severe drought put strain on the supplies for the state of New South Wales. Due to this and the success of the irrigation trialled by Sir Samuel McAfee on his North Yanco property, the Murrumbidgee irrigation scheme was introduced, with work commencing from 1906 to the grand opening in 1910. The establishment of Griffith's irrigation began in 1911. During this time, families moved to the area to live in construction camps. The houses built in these camps were constructed from anything they could find, usually bags, hence the name Bagtown. The men would work to build the canals each day. Young boys often assisted the men with their duties by filling up their water bags for drinking, sharpening picks, or digging. They were affectionately named Nippers or the Water Joeys.
Ma, I am just as strong as any of them boys, and not to mention smarter. Yet I'm stuck here doing all this dirty laundry, and they're out on the canals having the best fun and adventure.
Josie, I don't know how often I need to repeat this, but canal work is for the men and the boys. Even if you were a boy, I wouldn't send you. Far too small. William was almost my height before I sent him.
And Peter?
Well, he was even bigger again.
An even bigger fool.
Josie, don't you ever speak about your brothers in such a way again, no matter how clever you think you are. Now here, you take all these breeches and give them a good wash. I want all the dust out of them.
Nobody even bats an eye when they come home, covered in dust. Me, on the other hand, I work just as hard, if not harder than the boys. I'm always on time, and I'm always trying hard to learn.
Josie, you think I don't see this. It's truth. You'd be better at being a water joey than anyone. I noticed the way you trail up to Pa, learning the best way to cut wood or mend things. You're his shadow.
And I've gotten taller, you know. I reckon a good inch, almost 2. Haven't you heard them older boys tease me and call me cornstalk?
You'd grow a foot and I'd still not send you. It's just not a place for young ladies. Simple as that. Now get scrubbing, Missy. The water is boiling outside over the campfire and the soap's right here. Be careful now.
Can I at least go play knuckles once I've finished?
Once you're done, yes you may.
Thank you, Ma. And so I washed every piece of clothing until my fingers ached from the washboard and soap. As I wrung dry the last pair of breeches and shirt, my mind started to race. I had made up my mind. Tomorrow, I would go on an adventure, and my only worry was that I'd get caught by Ma before I got away. That night, I helped my mother with dinner and was kind to my brothers. Their work clothes dried quickly in the hot air outside. I found it so hard to sleep. I was too full of excitement for the next morning. This morning could not have come quickly enough. I've got the billies almost boiling, and the brekkies finished and cleaned up. I'm already ready for school, and as I leave, I grab the rolled up clothes I'd hidden behind our bag hut. My mother had given me a clip over the ear for dawdling with the laundry yesterday, but it hadn't been worth it. I redressed and pulled William's cap over all my hair. I was on my way, a 3.5-mile walk to start my life as a water joey.
Hey there, Skipper. Are you on your way to the canals? I'm from the next camp over. The name's Harry.
It's Joe.
Joe? A Joey called Joe. What are the odds? Well, we've had a breakdown, Joe. One of our horses has pulled up lame, and I've been sent here to ask if we could possibly borrow one of yours. Any idea who I talked to?
I don't really know. I need to keep walking.
Wait, what on earth? You're a girl. What are you doing out here dressed like that? Does your pa know that you're out here?
Shh. Please don't tell anyone. Especially not my pa. Or my ma.
Why? What are you doing? I won't tell. Promise.
I'm a water joey.
Yeah, and I'm the King of England.
No, I am a water joey. I'm heading to the canals to learn. I'll be the best one out there. Better than all of those silly boys.
You want to work there? Aren't you meant to be in school?
No. I mean, yes. I just want to see what it's like. Please, I just want to see the canals and fill a water bag or two.
Look here, what's your real name?
It's Josie.
Josie. You get me another horse, and I'll take you to the canal. Sound like a deal?
Will you tell my papa?
Wasn't planning on it. Can you get me a horse or not?
I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd been caught, and before I'd even left the camp, I hurriedly pointed Harry to the officers who looked after the horses. Not 15 minutes later, I was back on the road to the canals, this time with Harry and his horse beside me. Harry chatted happily to me the whole 3 miles. When we reached the canals, 2 men took the horse off Harry and began setting it up with its plough.
Now, Josie, you've got to be real careful around here. There's some very dangerous equipment here. I've seen men twice as big as me batting and knocked to the ground. Keep an eye out for the horses too. Never stand near the back end of one, especially in the afternoon. They get tired and restless.
I already know that, Harry. I've been living in the camp for the last year. I know my way around horses. No problems.
It's not just the horses you got to watch out for, though. Sharpening picks is bloody dangerous too. Oh, whoops. Excuse my language. And you've got to watch the plows too. Don't get under anyone's feet and keep your wits about you is all I'm saying.
Right. Well, I don't see my father or my brothers yet. They'll lose their heads if they saw me here. What's happening over there?
Well, that's how they make the canals. You see all those men working the horse and plow? Look closer and you'll see they're all doing different jobs. Chaps in the front there, well, they're loosening the dirt. Roughly about 100 yards at a time. Big job, eh?
Yes, that's what my father usually does. I think I see him.
Very important job because coming in is the scoop gang. That's what they're called. They're the ones that go in and dig out all the dirt. Notice it goes diagonal across? See, then you've got the starts of a channel.
And is that the slide scoop?
Too right it is. That's what I'm usually doing. We come in and smooth out the sides. Makes it look real nice, don't you think?
I can barely see anything past all these flies, but blimey, yes.
So what do you think, Miss Joey? You reckon you could fill up my water bag? Gosh, it's almost empty from the walk. And while you're at it, give a few of those picks a good sharpen. Never seen them looking so blunt. Oh, and best start helping with smoke up soon. The men will be getting hungry.
Really? I can do that. I'll do a really good job, sir.
Better keep that cap on in case someone recognizes you. Only for today, okay? I want you back at school tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, don't just stand there, Joey. Let's get some canals built.
And so, I did. I worked a full day, covered in dust, and as happy as can be before my brother noticed who I was, and I was sent back home. My parents were absolutely furious. My brothers were in disbelief that I'd been gutsy enough to go to the canals on my own and smart enough to almost get away with it, thanks to Harry. I never worked on the canals again, but lived in the camp for several years. From 1912, 2 of the workers and Arthur Griffith turned the lever open so water could spread out through the leading area. The MIA soon spread as water filled along those dugout and smoothed canals. Years later, I stood before the maze of canals, now filled with precious water, and thought to myself, I helped make this happen. back when I was a water joey.
The Water Joey was written by Lisa Semmler and directed by Bonnie Browne. Produced by Bonnie Owen and Griffith Piney Park Museum. Edited by Aaron Grugan. Original music by Catherine Innes. Selected sound effects courtesy of Charles Sturt University Sound Files. The Water Joey featured the voice talents of Raisa Cabahug, Maggie Bell, Jariah Gannon and Brette Morton. Next week on Vintage Voices, two boys make a splash in No Water by Christmas.